Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Excellent. I'd like to see a show of hands. How many of you in this room has known somebody that's had cancer? That's unfortunate. Everybody raise their hand. So, there's different types of cancer treatments out there. Everybody knows most of the generic cancer treatments. Can we name a few? What types of cancer treatments do you guys know of?
Surgery.
Surgery,
Chemo and radiation,
chemo and radiation,
Stem cell transplant.
stem cell transplant, that's going above and beyond. Not many people know a whole lot about that. Those are all good examples. Chemotherapy and radiation are two of the biggest ones. A lot of side effects with it. So today I'd actually like to introduce a new treatment that most people haven't heard of called CAR T-cell gene therapy. It's a new and upcoming treatment. It's been researched for over 30 years. The initial research took a very long time to develop, but it's really starting to take off now. So a little bit about CAR T-cell gene therapy. Here is an example of what it means. So CAR is chimeric antigen receptor. T-cell, of course, is a white blood cell found in the human body. Most of us know what a T-cell is. And then genetic therapy is for cancer treatment. So in 1989, Gross and colleagues began research on CAR T-cell gene therapy. Their initial results did not yield what they expected. So for about 20 years, it just slowly developed. There wasn't a whole lot going on. So Clayway and colleagues are a group of people that worked in various departments of medicine, cancer research, immunology, gene research, and they created a journal article in the Transfusion Medicine and Hemotherapy Journal. And in that journal, they describe exactly what it means for CAR T-cell gene therapy. So what happens in the beginning of CAR T-cell gene therapy is initially they take blood from a patient, they take the blood out of the patient, they separate the T-cells from the patient, and that's found here. Then they take the T-cells once they've separated it from the patient, and they insert a CAR gene. A CAR gene is a chimeric antigen receptor, so they put a receptor on this T-cell, it's a white blood cell, remember, and they put a receptor on there that is specific to the type of cancer the patient has. Once they put that receptor on there, they replicate and proliferate the T-cells, and they take them and put them back into the patient. And what that does is it basically makes the patient immune to the type of cancer cell. Since its discovery, CAR T-cell gene therapy has been used for many different types of cancers. Initially, the biggest research that started was on B-cell lymphoma and leukemias in both adults and children. It started to grow. They started to add the gene therapy to solid tumors, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and it's been growing ever since. Hartman and colleagues, who are another group of people in the biotechnology and genetics division at the Paul Ehrlich Institute in Germany, developed a journal article explaining the research in Embo Molecular Medicine Journal. And when they brought the research forward, they started seeing a lot of problems that was happening with CAR T-cell gene therapy, which is why it's taken so long, 31 years, for this research to actually get to a point where it's been approved. And that problem was cytokine release syndrome, which a lot of us have heard of with this new COVID-19, cytokine storm. We've all gotten a medical degree in the last few months with COVID-19. So cytokine release storm, or cytokine storm, was the biggest problem that they were running into. So they had to start changing how they were picking out their antigen receptors, those chimeric antigen receptors. They have to find something only specific to the cancer cells and not specific to at all to any of the normal, healthy living cells. So as they did that, they started making ground with it over the last 13 years. And now they are actually taking the T cells that they're pulling out and putting the CAR antigens on and putting it straight into tumor sites, or making it so specific to like leukemia and B-cell lymphoma that it only attacks those specific cells. We are now basically talking about being immune to cancer, is how this research is working, but it's taken a long time to find those exact specific antigens. So now we know a little bit more about CAR T-cell gene therapy. Summary is basically you're just taking it out of the body, taking your T-cell out of the body, altering it to be specific, and just teaching it how to recognize cancer cells, because your body's no longer recognizing it. So you just take it out, teach it, put it back in the body, and then it will attack those cells and it will proliferate and stay with you so that the cancer is also not recurrent. And the types of treatments that it's been most successful in so far is breast cancer, solid tumors, B-cell lymphoma, and then children and adults with different types of leukemia. Now, Rodriguez, Cartagena, and colleagues, who are another team from the Mayo Clinic in different departments such as neurology, immunology, hematology, and epidemiology, explain the guidelines for the FDA approval and the therapies that are approved in an article in the Journal of Clinical and Translational Science. This therapy is considered an investigational new drug by the FDA, so it has to go through all kinds of hoops to get approved. But as of 2018, in the United States, there are 2 gene therapies, CAR T-cell gene therapies, that are approved. And those 2 gene therapies that are approved, the problem right now with why it's not so well recognized is because it's expensive. Any kind of new treatment that comes out onto the market is expensive. And then the other problem is there's limited treatment centers with capabilities of administering it. So you'd have to go to Mayo Clinic or some of the bigger hospitals that aren't close to you. So as we've seen, CAR T-cell gene therapy has exponentially grown over the last 31 years, and it continues to grow, and it brings hope to our future that at some point we'll be able to battle against one of the scariest diagnoses out there, the cancer. Thank you.